If you've been scrolling through endless rows of 24-inch 4K monitors, comparing pixel counts, refresh rates, and price tags, and you still feel stuck wondering which one actually gives you the crispness you need without breaking the bank, this review is here to clear that up. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last week setting up the Kuycon P24U next to my laptop, swapping it between my home office, my gaming rig, and my video editing suite, so I can tell you exactly how it behaves in each real-world scenario. First off, the biggest hesitation people have with any 4K display at this size is the pixel density. At 185 pixels per inch, the P24U squeezes a massive 38402160 canvas into a 24-inch frame, which sounds impressive on paper, but can feel cramped if you're used to a 1080p monitor. In practice, I found that everyday tasks like browsing, reading long documents, or scrolling through spreadsheets actually become a little more comfortable because the text is razor-sharp. The downside is you'll need to scale UI elements in Windows or macOS to avoid everything looking tiny. If you're okay tweaking scaling settings, the extra detail is a genuine productivity boost, especially when you're juggling multiple windows side by side. Color accuracy is another hot topic. Kuycon advertises 99% sRGB and 98% DCI-P3 coverage, and after a quick calibration using the free DisplayCal tool, the out-of-the-box picture was surprisingly close to the target. For photo enthusiasts or content creators who need a wide gamut for grading, the monitor reproduces rich mids and highlights without looking oversaturated. In my video editing tests, the DCI-P3 coverage let me see the same color range I'd get on a more expensive reference monitor, which is a rare find at this price point. However, the monitor isn't HDR certified beyond basic HDR support, so you won't see the full punch of HDR10 content. Bright scenes will look decent, but lack the dramatic contrast you'd expect from a true HDR panel. Speaking of contrast, the 1200:1 ratio is respectable for an IPS display, but it still falls short of the deep blacks you'd get from a VA panel. In a darkened room, the background of a movie will be more of a dark gray than pure black, which may be a deal-breaker for cinephiles who crave cinema-level immersion. For most office work, streaming, or casual gaming, that level of contrast is more than sufficient. The HDR mode does boost peak luminance a bit, but because the panel tops out around 300 nits, the effect is modest. Now let's talk about ergonomics, because sitting in front of a monitor all day can turn into a backache marathon if the stand isn't flexible. The Kuycon comes with a height-adjustable stand that also swivels and tilts, so you can raise it to eye level, angle it for a comfortable viewing distance, or pivot it when you need to share the screen with a coworker. The adjustment knobs are smooth and lock firmly, which is a small but important quality of life detail. If you already have a VESA-compatible arm, the monitor's universal mounting holes make it easy to mount on a desk clamp or wall bracket, giving you even more flexibility for a clean workspace. Power delivery is a hidden plus. The monitor's USB-C port supplies up to 100W, meaning you can power a laptop, a thin gaming notebook, or even a small workstation with a single cable, no more tangled power bricks cluttering your desk. In my setup, I connected a 15-inch laptop via USB-C, and the monitor handled both video and charging without a hiccup. The downside is the USB-C port is the only high-speed data connection. If you need multiple external devices, you'll have to rely on the two downstream USB-A ports, which are fine for a mouse and a webcam, but won't satisfy a heavy-duty peripheral setup. One practical concern that surfaces with 4K monitors is whether your graphics card can actually drive the resolution at a usable frame rate. The P24U is a 60Hz panel, so it's not aimed at competitive gamers who demand 144 Hz or higher. In my testing with a mid-range RTX 3060, I could hit 60 frames per second in most modern titles at medium settings, but demanding AAA games required turning down textures or resolution scaling to stay smooth. If you're primarily a gamer looking for ultra-high frame rates, you might be better off with a 1440p 144Hz display. Conversely, if you're a developer, designer, or streamer who values pixel-perfect clarity more than raw speed, the P24U hits the sweet spot. Another nuance is the speaker situation. There are none. It's not surprising for a monitor in this price bracket, but if you expect built-in audio for casual videos, you'll need external speakers or headphones. The lack of built-in audio keeps the cost down and the panel thinner, but it's worth noting for anyone who prefers a minimalist desk without extra peripherals. Who should buy this monitor? First, creators who need a wide color gamut and high resolution for photo editing, video color grading, or UI design will appreciate the DCI-P3 coverage and pixel density without shelling out for a $500+ professional display. Second,